In 1982, two nations went to war over a cluster of cold, windswept islands in the South Atlantic, so remote that most people couldn't find them on a map. One side had to fight 8,000 miles from home at the very end of the world. It would become one of the most extraordinary naval campaigns of the modern age. This is the Falklands War. The Falkland Islands sit far off the coast of South America in the freezing waters of the South Atlantic. For a century and a half, they had been governed by Britain and home to a small population that saw itself as firmly British. But Argentina had long claimed the islands as its own, calling them Las Malvinas. To many Argentines, they were national territory under foreign occupation. In early 1982, Argentina's military government was struggling at home. A quick, patriotic victory could rally the nation behind it. So, in April, Argentine forces landed and seized the islands. The tiny British garrison was quickly overwhelmed. Half a world away, it seemed the islands were lost. Few expected what happened next. Britain decided to take the islands back by sea. Within days, a task force was assembled and sailing south. Aircraft carriers, destroyers, troop ships, even ocean liners converted to carry soldiers. It was a staggering logistical gamble. The fleet had to travel thousands of miles with almost no friendly bases along the way. If something went wrong, there would be no easy retreat and no reinforcements waiting nearby. By the time the fleet neared the islands, winter was closing in on the South Atlantic, brutal seas, freezing winds, and long, dark nights. The fighting that followed was fierce, and it was fought as much in the sky as on the waves. British Harrier jump jets, few in number, defended the fleet against waves of Argentine aircraft. Argentine pilots flew with real daring, pressing home attacks against the ships despite heavy losses. And this war revealed a new danger, the anti-ship missile. A single missile could cripple or sink a modern warship in moments. Ships were hit, sailors died on both sides. The cold water of the South Atlantic made every sinking a race against time. The losses were a sober reminder that even a technologically advanced fleet was terribly vulnerable so far from home. Then came the hardest part, putting soldiers ashore and fighting across the islands themselves. British forces landed and began a grueling advance over cold, boggy, treeless terrain, often on foot, carrying heavy loads. They called it yomping, long marches across the mountains toward the capital, Stanley. The final battles were fought at night, on rocky ridgelines, in close and difficult conditions. After weeks of fighting, Argentine forces around Stanley surrendered. The islands were back under British control. The war had lasted only about 10 weeks, but its impact was enormous. Hundreds of young men on both sides had died, far from home, over islands most of the world had never thought about. In Argentina, the defeat helped bring down the military government. In Britain, the victory reshaped its politics and its sense of itself. And military planners everywhere took note. The Falklands proved that projecting power across an ocean was still possible, but breathtakingly risky and terribly costly. A war fought at the end of the world had shown just how far a nation would go to defend a place it called its own. But 15 years earlier, on the other side of the planet, another nation had faced 3 armies at once and won a war in just 6 days. That's the next story.